everybody, one of Wiisdom here. It is Monday night, early Tuesday morning, just after midnight actually. And a cold front is coming. It's extremely windy outside, but nonetheless, last night where we left off, we took Krankcase through his base upgrades, which is pretty decent. Nothing super amazing, but again, it's one of those things. The quantity of the instances of damage is sort of what you need to go by. Gut feeling here with what I've learned from Skylanders in the past. The bottom path is probably numerically better. Again, liken that back to Double Trouble, Sonic Boom in particular. Which one do I think would be more fun? Probably the top path. Would I use it more? Here's the deal with Krankcase, alright? So essentially what you need to do, I'm pretty sure regardless of which path we take, you want 3 hatbots active, which you get right here with the last base upgrade. You want those 3 things active as often as possible. So if you're approaching a horde of enemies, you first throw 3 hatbots, then you go in. If you get a reprieve between, like maybe the enemies are boarding the area to the left and they're not on the screen yet or able to attack you yet, you've lost 2 of your hatbots. Get 2 more in. If it's a situation where you become used to playing with Krankcase, and you can kind of keep tabs on your hatbots, or sort of see in your peripheral vision, the explosions or they expire or whatever it may be, press Y again and again and again. And I think you're going to want to take advantage of Hattacular on either the top or the bottom path. I just have a feeling that numerically this one would be better. I think visually, and like in terms of just pure excitement, probably the top. Let's see here. Those are the comments we got. But Caustic effect, goo puddles cause damage to enemies. That's super practical. Problem is, I envision it being a low number. Like a 5 to 8. Maybe what we saw with Tri-Tip and the latter 2 upgrades on Paleolithic Pounder we took last night, 12 to 17-ish, something in there. Gooing bigger blobs and bigger puddles. Now, will the puddle do extra damage, or is it just like, oh, well, now the Chompy that didn't go through the puddle will because it's that much larger? Don't know until we take it, which, I would assume the 16 to 24 would go up at that point in time, which if that's the case, that alone is a very big deal. Right here, Goo'd weather, spinning into goo puddles releases a shower of goo blobs. Does that mean they do 16 to 24? Do they do something lesser than that? I don't know. There's a lot of unknowns here. However, Gooing big is probably the single most impactful, I would guess, followed by this one and then that. Note that there's no upgrade to the secondary attack. Like duration, I mean, that would have been so amazing. Just, you can now, spin doctor for longer, if you will. That said, Hatbot Havoc, you're thinking throw 3 at once. That's kind of stupid, you say to yourself, but read the rest of it. Maximum number to 6. So now in 2 throws instead of 6, you will have 6 bots. So that could be somewhat annoying, like if you've got 2 Hatbots off fighting an enemy for you. Well, but I guess that would be okay. It's just a situation where you could incidentally despawn some that you don't mean to. But I assume they could. They've got good AI, but it takes them, 3 or 4 hits to maybe get where you want them to be, And they do actually hit at specific intervals. It's not just a deal they wait until they've tracked an enemy. It's attack, 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 while they track an enemy, and then eventually they'll start hitting the enemy. Goo bots, when the hatbots expire, they explode, leaving behind a goo puddle, which again, keep in mind, we won't have caustic effect here, but I assume we could slide through it and take advantage of Splats All folks, which becomes somewhat practical. Again, probably not a huge deal. This part here is probably, this is just going to be a no-brainer, kind of like this one, but you don't know much about the top one, This, Goo wouldn't believe it versus Gooing big, to me, is what'll make or break our, decisions here. Going with what I have learned, and the fact that I feel like Krankcase can take care of himself decently with the 16 to 24 at this point in time, I'm going to take this one first, and I will probably like it really well, but what I'm hoping for is that then when we reset and we take the bottom path, I'm hoping that it numerically outperforms the other and we like it too. So that's my story, that's my logic. Again, I do all this blind. Um, Number one, I don't know of anyone else that does, the damage numbers like I do. But number two, I don't watch anyone else's videos if anyone's made them on this guy. So it's 100% blind, and this is my logic, and that's what I'm going to do. So the other thing that's sort of a saving grace, if you do this and you're super bummed out because you really love the quick shot aspect of him, after all, he's a sensei of the class, you're like, man, I wish he just did something else with the guns. Soul Gem, shoot Goo the Heart, the Bon Jovi reference, we kind of, get to charge up a jazz. So it's sort of a deal. Now, will it do more damage with the top path? We're going to have to find out. And then the Sky Chi Power Goo Gashu, which we have covered significantly amount of time invested in explaining that one on our base upgrade video. Also gun related, and if that may also benefit from the top path. That's something you'll have to weigh in, but I'm going to go ahead and do what I think we should do. So we're going to take the top path, but that's my logic. People always ask, why did you do this? What were you thinking? A lot of people don't realize that I do reset the character and take the other path. So I get a lot of crud from people for like, oh, you should have taken the bottom one, it's better. It's like, hello, I reset and showcase both paths. But anyway, here we go. We're going to take the top path, which is for the greater Goo'd. Again, improve your Goo attacks. I think I'm really going to like it. There's two big wild cards on it. And actually, if the middle one doesn't increase the damage, if it's just what you would assume it would, being a bigger blob, but you never know in this game. And then Builder of Bots, we will take next time after I have reset him. So, here we go. Alright, so Caustic Effect, Goo Puddles cause damage to enemies. Previously they don't, even though box stock you see the Goo Puddle and it's got like an acidic smoke coming off of it. It has yet to yield any damage at any point, and this is going to change it, and I think I'm going to like it. 1,700 is the price. You will need 6,900 for these 3 upgrades regardless of the path you choose, and then the Soul Gem 4,000 you would need 10,900 collectively. So let's get it and see what we got. Alright, first thing first, let's see what it looks like. Honestly, it looks pretty much the same. I'm not gonna lie. Is that a longer duration? Did we ever time the duration? I don't know that I did, because we never really had a scenario where it did damage. So let's time this. I'm gonna go ahead and call it like 7 seconds. Again, that's not the most scientific thing, but 7 seconds. What we will try to go by is ticks of damage from the enemies. So, let me just coat this whole area. Can we? Sort of? Possibly? Doesn't seem to want to. That's a shame. Alright. That's actually going to work really well if I just let them come up to me. And that does more damage than I thought it would. I was thinking 5 to 8, and then as I mentioned, what we saw with Legendary Tri-Tip on the Paleolithic Pounder, I was thinking possibly something in the 17 range. So 16 to 24, again, collectively over time, that adds up. So let's see how many ticks we can get. 14 on that, I think, but... $13 there. Let me just kill him. Alright. And now... That didn't work well. It's either 13 or 14. Let's see. 13 I'm going to go with. So 7 seconds, 13x at 16 to 24. So again, that's actually a pretty significant deal here, because let me I'd actually like to give you a look at it from this angle because there's times that it pops. I guess every time it sort of has that big pushback. So that's actually way better than I thought it would be. Particularly, I mean, 13 instances, and you have to realize if you take this path, you're primarily spamming your primary attacks, you're going to have puddles everywhere. You can strategically slide through them and deal extra damage, or the enemy can come into it and take damage of its own free will. So keep that in mind. Gooing big for 2200. This is really what I think will be the make or break for this path. Goo guns shoot bigger blobs that create bigger puddles. I'm assuming a bigger blob will do more damage. We don't know that yet. Guns didn't change aesthetically, which is good, because I like them the way they are. But 16 to 24 should be changing. And then the puddle, you kind of saw their size. I expect it to increase in, its like diameter or circumference. And the ultimate question will be, assuming that we do get the damage increase from the gunshot itself, will the 16 to 24 from Caustic effect go up because it's a bigger puddle? I'm thinking no, as I've referenced already, but let's take a look at it first. Okay, so it's roughly about the same duration, but here we go. 33, that was a critical. 22 to 33, okay, so 22 to 33. And if we rapid attack, you have to realize, and look at this, the puddles that we have to slide through. So you can see how he could work very well in tandem, but we go from 1624 to 2233, not a huge increase, but +8, +9 respectively. The thing is, though, you can think of a singular shot as doing the 22, and then as the enemy, you can basically hold them back. And what I mean by that is, like, if I shoot, he's in the puddle. If I run away, he eventually gets out of the puddle. But, like, I can keep him in a puddle by just spamming it, sort of like a very slight knockback effect. And that basically makes the gunshot 22 to 33 plus Caustic effect 16 to 24, which will give us a range of 38 or 46 all the way to 33, 49, 57. So that's... Is it raining? I do believe it is. That's pretty significant, particularly again because of the speed at which we can fire off. Try to give you a good look. Like I said, this will be the visually more appealing path, I believe, too. And then keep in mind you can still slide through it. It's very strange to me that Spin Doctor never gets touched. Like, we got Splats All folks early on in the base, but if we could just, like, do that for, 2 or 3 times the duration, like, if we could do it long enough that I could go from this point back to where we started without having to do it 3 times, it would be a big deal. And really, the 9 to 14 damage, I realize you can slide through the goo, but it would be nice if that could maybe bump up to, like, at least a 16 to 24 type of a frame. It looks like it would hurt more than that. You would think like 20 to 30 minimal, but it is what it is. Just my thoughts on the subject there.
Let's go over your test results.
So here we are. This is it. This is the final upgrade for the greater Goo'd, if you will. It's Goo'd Weather. Spinning into goo puddles releases a shower of goo blobs. This again, it's just the unknown. So we spun into it with Splats All folks, and they splattered is what the technical term was, and that was doing, what was it, 43 to 65, which even now it's still our singular most damaging attack, and it's actually in line with some of these combos. But now it's going to do goo blobs. So will that be like a 16 to 24 we had from our box stock goo guns? Will it reflect what we have with, gooing big at 22 to 33? I don't know. Will it just simply change from, will it be 43 to 65 still? Will that still exist and then you just have the blobs as well?
Oh, yeah!
Whoa, and then that made 3 puddles? Why do they not tell you this? Like, seriously. You can just... Okay. Now,
As you can
Seriously,
see, I have
folks,
excellent credentials.
where did I miss that? Spinning into goo puddles releases a shower of goo blobs. Could you assume that a goo blob will make another goo puddle? Well, you could, but I don't think most people would. I think most people would picture that as a goo blob. But basically, watch this. I'm going to shoot one time. I wish there were better camera angles in this. We're shooting one time. I spin.
Goose for you.
We've got a puddle up there. We got a puddle over here. Let me actually put the goo over here. Look at this. Now we have two puddles, and I do it again, and I've got more puddles, and I'm able to slide through it, and now we've got like a fountain. You could sync this to music and annoy your neighbors with it, at Christmas or something. That's so much cooler than the description would make it seem, isn't it? Now the question is, what does it do damage-wise? So, I'm gonna goo that up. We're gonna hit this. Oh, hit the wrong button.
It's go time!
That may just be. Oh no, we got a 43 out of it. But that's from the splat, right? Okay, the blobs themselves will do 16. Let's see how hard it is to get the 43. Okay, it's not. At least doesn't appear to be. Yeah, it's not going to be hard to get it. Alright, so that's good. That is good. Good weather. Basically, what we need to do is spin through goo. Get blobs at 16 to 24. Blobs make new puddles. That's, again, pretty significant, because if I shoot, we've got one puddle, right? Pay attention to that one puddle. Now we have 3. Now I've got, it's like the screen is covered in this stuff now. You may get maxed out at some point, but all of that came from one singular shot. So this not only really addresses the primary attack, but also the secondary, with all that in there. So it's a pretty good path, I have to say. Very beneficial. Again, better damage than I had thought it would be. I was honestly expecting like 5 to 8, maybe 9 up or something, 10 to 15, to be what we probably would get. So that's significant. This, honestly, what I thought would be the make or break deal, it's kind of the most insignificant of this. It's nice to have 22 to 33. It really is. The bigger puddles, that's nice, but, he's pretty accurate. You're just going to be spamming anyway, so you're not going to, be really in a make or break situation. That, man, if I'd have just had Gooing Big's larger puddle, I wouldn't be dead right now. I don't see that as being a case, but again, minuscule increase. It's still nice, though, particularly since he is a rapid-fire character. And then Good Weather, that turned out to be really nice, and I did not expect that from the description. So overall, I have no complaints on this path. I didn't figure I would, but upgrades 3 and upgrade 1, in my opinion, turned out to be a little bit bigger and more incentive to take the path in the middle upgrade number 2, that I thought would be the most. Now, if this would have done something like take 16 to 24 to 48 to 72, then yes, going big would be the big deal, but it's such a small increase. It's almost, I don't want to say negligible, but going from 16 to 22, it's not like with Legendary Tri-Tip last night. I mean, we had like a huge jump in the mace damage. I think this path would perform very well for people of all skill levels. So that said, we've got one more thing to couple it with, and it is Shoot Goo the Heart. Hold X to charge up a gigantic goo shot attack. Now, a couple questions here. Number 1, obviously first and foremost, damage number. Number 2, puddle effect. And number 3, and the big deal, how long do we have to hold? So let's come down here. I assume he's ready to go as soon as that aura appears. You can move about, any direction, but he goes much slower. It looks like it's going to be a twin shot. But you can rotate very quick still. But, the fact that there is movement is a perk. So let's go ahead and we'll take the visual in of the guns and see what he's doing.
This goes
Oh.
for you.
Oh yeah, that's 5 puddles, man.
Goo'd.
And then look at that, just pure chaos. This is awesome. Caustic effect could turn out to be
Oh yeah.
something that makes me reset the bottom path and take this one, man. I don't know. We'll have to see. It'll depend what the hatbots do, but this is a fantastic path. Which again makes me sad that we don't have like some other sort of crankcase figure. Then I could have both of them active at all times. But such is life. Now what we're going to do is stand way over here. I want to see if the giant Soul Gem Goo Blob charge shot will hit the arena, and if we can get more than 5 puddles. So, here we go.
Right on.
Sweet. 1. Oh, they went away pretty quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think 5 is going to be... I guess there could be more, but I mean, truth be told, pay attention to these first few that you see in front of me. Like, as I progress, they're already gone. These 5 stay around longer. So that leads me to question, can we slide through the first 2?
Here we go again.
Oh, it doesn't even register them. So I think that must just be a visual thing. But, so a trail of 5, that's pretty sweet. Now the question, what do we do damage? It's about a 2-second, let's see, 1 Mississippi 2. It's always hard to count these, because you've basically got a scenario where you're going to hold down the button and you get a shot off while you do that, so I'd say 2 seconds, you know, 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds. Not a big deal at all. Basically just don't release X and you've got this ready to go. 2-second charge, which is again insignificance. And let's hit this, fire that over there. Oh man, 135? Are you kidding me? That's insane. Okay. Now see, if Gooing Big had done that, this man would be a legend. Let's see if we can see the critical. I know what it is, but I want to see it. It's the Soul Gem. We owe it to ourselves. Actually, I don't know exactly what it is. We'd have to calculate it. 135. 130 would be 65. So 137. No, I'm sorry, 67.5, which would be 68, which would be 190 for 203. Is that right? Let's just see it. Come on, deliver a critical hit, sir. Come on. You can do it, Krankcase. You have faith in me. There it was, 203. Thank you. 2-second charge. 135 to 203. Not 2,136. Don't know how I entered that. That would be a game changer there. Let's go one hit of Doomlander. 2-second charge. 135 to 203 from the giant goo blob. And then leaves 5 goo puddles. Now, that's significant for this path because, well, yeah, primarily caustic effect, man. So case in point, I don't have to do anything to this guy except lure him into these, you know, trail of tears that we shoot. I don't have to shoot him. Oh, that somehow that killed him. But yeah, so you can still slide through this, you know, with your standard base upgrades. But the caustic effect at 16 to 24, very, very big deal. So can't complain there. Now this, my friends, could be a big deal. What we're going to do, I haven't showcased it yet, because, well, I did in the base upgrades, but not here. Didn't do it because I already had this thought in my head. Sky Chi. First off, Quick Shot Shrine is found in Sky Fortress, the Jetvac level, if you go by that terminology. Here's the deal, okay? I tested it with the base upgrades. We were doing 16 to 24, okay? Now, Gooing Big, as minuscule of a gain as 16 to 22 is, it is a gain. And will that be reflected here as a 22 to 33? If so, that would make the Sky Chi power stronger if you're on the top path as opposed to the bottom path, okay? Bigger question is, particularly with Caustic Effect, will the things that he shoots out, regardless of the damage they do, whether it's 16 or 22, will they leave puddles? And again, if they do, primarily because of Caustic Effect. Oh, yeah, that might be sleet, man. That's crazy. That's real world. But Caustic Effect plus Goo'd Weather. This could really change up the Sky Chi power. So you've seen it. You should see it in the base upgrades. Let's go ahead and get our 4 friends in here to kill. And here we are. Alright, so I'm going to use the Sky Chi power.
Crank up the Sky Chi!
Oh, it is 22 to 33.
Surgical strike. I'd say that procedure went well.
Okay, now the catch is pretty much all the puddles are going to be gone by the time you spin out of that. But Goo Goo Gashoo, I am the walrus, 22 to 33 with the top path. So 22 to 33 with for the greater good. Okay, that is worth noting. Now that said, we're going to come in when we reset him, which I hate doing because I have to not only go and get the money back, then I have to go all the way through and get the quick shot shrine again so we can do that. But it's all going to come down to this bottom path and what we used to know in Skylanders. We're talking SSA and giant logic here. Anytime there's minions, it tends to be a pretty potent path. I will hope that the soul gem stays at 135 to 203. It could potentially be boosted by Gooing big as well. That would really suck if you take the bottom path to get gypped on the soul gem and the Sky Chi. You know, the Sky Chi is somewhat more understandable because it's sort of like the standard primary attack aesthetic. This is not. This is a charged attack. This is like holding down the primary button with trigger happy for 10 seconds for the golden Yamato blast sort of a deal. So, and I may do that. I may hold it down for a really long time and see if I get higher numbers. I don't think we will, but sometimes they don't talk about that, and you know, little nice surprises can be found from time to time. But yeah, we're in a dilemma. I love this path. I have zero complaints on it. If I had to be nitpicky, it would be that gooing big didn't really goo that big. You know, even 16 to 24, jumping to 24 to 36, I feel like that would sort of be more of a, oh hey, you know, 16 to 22, it just doesn't sound as impressive. But again, the speed at which he can shoot those off, and then has Caustic Effect at 16 to 24, and can slide through it and extend the puddles, and basically have the screen constantly have puddles of goo that do damage to enemies, is kind of a big deal. So, like I told you at the start of this video and in the base upgrades, I thought I would quote-unquote like this path a little better, but I thought this path would probably numerically be superior and kind of yield its dividends. And keep in mind, I've been doing this stuff here with you today without having hatbots present. So Krankcase is basically going to turn into a juggernaut of sorts that has a projector. That's the big deal. You know, Tri-Tip and Barbella are both juggernauts. I mean, you can just go in there tankish, if you will. The problem is, I say you can go in, you literally have to go in, because they're up close and personal fighters. You got a Smasher and a Sentinel, so it's sort of like a brawler type of a situation. Krankcase does not have the greatest distance abilities, but it is a projectile that can keep him farther away from an enemy than, say, you could with Tri-Tip sort of a thing. So yeah, I don't know how this is going to turn out, man, but I do know I love this path, and I would hate resetting it even if I hated the path. Well, not if I hated it, but it's just unfortunate to have to reset and get the money and go back and get the Sky Chi. I may not get the Sky Chi. I'm going to tell you that right now. It might be a deal. I reset him, I get the money, we take a look at the bottom path, and then if it is numerically superior, or if I just like it, then I'll go back and I will take him and get the Sky Chi back. But if it's a situation where I take the bottom path and I'm like, you know what, I love the top path so much more, I'm going to reset him again, then I would save myself all the trouble of going to the, quick shot shrine for a third time, which that's really what annoys me in Imaginators with what we're doing here with research. Number one, the fact that I can't play as a character because leveling up increases, which is a great thing, but horrible for what we do. We care about the baseline, a maximum and a minimum, and we're going to be a long time before we get to a maximum, and you need a minimum to have the baseline to appreciate the maximum. So that's why I haven't been able to use them. I had some people in the stream, and then even now when I released the video of Sky Fortress today, the stream export, they're like, oh my gosh, you finally got to use a sentinel or a sensei, in Skylanders Imaginators. And it's like, yeah, all this time has passed, and I finally got to use an actual new character in the new game. And the reason for that is research here on this style of video that we do. But yeah, it's really, really sad to have to go back to the shrine, because the shrines aren't like conveniently located at the start of each level. It's like some of them are at the very, very end of a level, sort of a thing. And so it turns out to be fairly time consuming. I'm sure if you reset your characters you kind of know. But Builder of Bots, I will say the pressure is on. I have high hopes for it, but it's up against a really good... This is reminiscent of my ambush scenario. I truthfully... And I have played as him as well as Barbella since he's been fully, discovered, if you will. But I'm telling you, I'm still kind of tempted to go back and stick with Go-Go Forest Ranger. But the thing holding me back primarily is I don't really want to waste my time and have to go back to this, shrine once more. So that said, I'm going to quit rambling and let me know if you've upgraded Krankcase. Which path did you take and why? Are you happy with your selection? If it's a scenario where you took a path like, the bottom one, and you love it so much that you didn't even look at the top path until this video, now that you've seen this, how does it compare? Similarly, if you've already taken both paths, which one do you find to be your favorite, your preferred path? And is that because it's just simply suits your playstyle better, or is it because, good grief, look at these numbers, they're amazing? What is your logic for which path is in fact superior? Again, if you're waiting on me to do this, that will be our next video. It's just I've got to reset him and get the money first. So I think I'm going to probably, while this renders out after I shower, I will probably go in and get Crankcase and Standard Tri-Tip some money. I think he needs the 14,000 as well. So that said, I'm not sure when this will be up. I'll schedule them as I get them ready. Could possibly be around Thanksgiving. So if that's the case, hope everyone, at least here in the U.S. where you celebrate it, has a great Thanksgiving. Hope everyone else has a great Thursday in the middle of your, non-celebratory work week, wherever you may be in the world. But I don't know, man. I really like this path we've got with him, and pressure is on. Pressure is on. So hashtag greater good, which you can just say greater good. That's fine. You don't have to put the apostrophe in there. Mainly because I don't really feel like typing that in every single time on the bonus bricks. But hashtag greater good will get you a bonus brick in the Wall of Wiisdom. You can learn more about that in the description box down below. Wall of Wiisdom, I basically give you, the viewer, a in-game shout out in my Wiisdom Plays Minecraft series, so make sure you check that out. Particularly if you like Minecraft, also be sure to check out Action for Mind Logic's SMP Season 2. But for myself and the Doctor of Goo, we will catch you back here for more Skylanders Imaginators research.